Hey everyone, now that we are in the month of September, I thought I would take a minute today and share 3 fun apple-themed activities that are perfect for kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd grade. I decided that each month during this 2021-2022 school year, one of my videos is going to be a seasonal one with some typical seasonal activities. Like in September, we're going to focus on apples, and I'm just gonna share 3 fun activities, some math, reading, maybe some writing ones that you might try to implement in your classroom this month. Since I upload every Thursday and Sunday morning, just 1 video a month will be like this one. If you've seen my videos before, then welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Susan Jones. I'm a former 1st grade and K-2 literacy teacher who now spends a lot of time here on YouTube sharing tips, ideas, videos, and all sorts of K-2 things with teachers just like you. So let's get learning about apples. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let's start. Oh, and I forgot to mention this in the intro, but I have quite a few freebies for you in this video, so be sure to follow along and I will tell you where you can grab the freebies for the activities that I share. All right, activity number 1 is going to be math-based, and I have 2 freebies that are going to work for kindergarten and for 1st grade for this one. So my 2nd grade teachers, think of how you could possibly use this for your own kids as well. So we can think of a skill that would work, and you can drop it in the comments if you think of it. But this is just a simple one. It's a simple center to throw in a math tub or when you're running math centers in September. And I'm gonna show you how to play, but it's basically like apple tree math, I guess you could call it. And the boards look like this. This one here has 1 box at the bottom, and this one will be for our kindergarten version. And then there's this box here, and you can see it has an addition equation. So this one will be our 1st grade version. You could see there that they were basically an apple tree, and what I did is I actually covered up the apples there with a white circle that your students will put cubes on. So let me show you how to play this. Of course, on the day I decided to print this out, my color printer is running out. So your sheet will look a lot nicer than this. It has a nice blue background, and your apples will be nice and bright and red. But here are the apples that are included. They go from number 0 to number 10, and you will just cut them out or have your students cut them out, and they can just shuffle them up and put them in a pile face down. All they will do is go ahead and flip an apple. You can put it here for reference. And of course I would laminate all of these so you can use them over and over. And then to make it more fun, I picked green and red cubes, and they will simply show 3 on their apple tree. They can decorate their apple tree however they want. Once that is done, if they're working with a partner, their partner can check it, and then they can put that in the discard pile and clear the board for their partner to go. Clearly they can do this independently as well. Here they would have 5, and they would simply, again, decorate their little apple tree however they wanted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here is the 1st grade or the addition version. Again, if you have kindergartners that are ready for this, go for it. But here you would have 2 spaces, and you'll just need 2 dice. So there's actually 12 empty spaces up here for apples instead of 10 like on the last one. So students would simply roll their dice. They would put it here, 2 and 5, or if this is laminated, you can have them write 2 and 5 equals 7. And then they will show, and you can do this a couple different ways. You can choose to have them show one of the numbers in one color apple and the other. That's probably how I would suggest they do it, simply because it's a visual way to see 2 and 5 equal 7. And then they could clear their board. Again, if they have a partner, their partner checks it, and their partner could then go. 6 and 1. This is why I like the 2 different color apples, because, like I mentioned, now they can see another way to make 7 is going to be having 6 green apples and 1 red apple. And they can write 7 here. So as you saw, those little apple tree mats, they were just like work mats. So your students can use the little red and green cubes to make little apples and either show the number or show the addition equation. 2nd grade teachers, if you can put a spin on it, drop it down in the comments below. All right, activity number 2, we're going to talk about some apple writing. Now, at the beginning of the year, especially in kindergarten and first grade, we are working on that beginning writing, so I like to use this opportunity to do a little bit of apple labeling. I recently just finished up a mini lessons unit for writing. It looks like this. This is the September one. It is in the SJT Writing Club, and it's also over on TPT. And what it is inside, there's 7 mini lessons for writing that you can kind of plug in. You can use them as a one-time lesson for like the day, or you could teach the lesson and then throw the sheets into a center for writing. But inside there, I have a couple different things related to apples that I wanted to share. For each of the themed mini lessons, you'll see here a little book suggestion as well as a video suggestion for students to learn about the topic. In this case, they were learning about apples. And then I included a bunch of different differentiated writing sheets, so that way this product would work for kindergarten, first, and second grade. So here you can see a box with a word bank down at the bottom, and it also has a traceable sentence starter for students to use. That way they can just share one fact about apples. And then you can see I have different ones here. This one with regular lines, not the dotted lines, but it still has a word bank in case your students need that. And then I also included this cute little apple directed drawing for students to draw in the picture box after they share the facts that they've learned. Now, even if you don't have that Gail Gibbons Apple book that I list as the suggested read aloud, like I said, I did include a YouTube link of someone else reading the story, and it's kid appropriate. All of the YouTube videos I ever link, I have watched myself. But even if you don't have that, these sheets are perfect for just sharing a fact you learned about apples. So you could find an entirely different book, you might throw up a Brain Pop Junior video, you might have any way of sharing some apple facts that you want to share with your kids, and then they can just write a simple fact or two that they learned. I really wanted to make sure that the sheets in these mini lessons were versatile, so your students can use them over and over, and you as the teacher have many different options for teaching. Now, also for one of the other mini lessons in that unit, I have a mini lesson on labeling, and here is the apple one, but I actually included a bunch of different fall themed labeling activities. And if you saw in that last one, it had a word bank down at the bottom. And again, I have one with the word bank and I have one without a word bank. So if your kindergarten students want to just copy the word to the correct spot, they have to use their alphabet knowledge to figure out which word might belong where. Or your students don't have a word bank at all, and if you're in kindergarten, you can just have them try to write the first letter that they hear for each part of the apple. And in first grade, or of course second grade, they can just write the word to the best of their ability. Now, of course, if you don't have the sheets from that unit or you don't want to purchase that unit, you can of course still do these activities. The book I shared is this one right here, Apples by Gail Gibbons. It's an informative text, or like I said earlier, find a video, find any other book about apples, and just have students write a fact. Now for the labeling, if you can't find an image, a clip art image of the inside of an apple, I have seen many teachers use apple stamps. So they use a real apple and they cut it in half. You might do, all sorts of other fun activities with the apples, like using your 5 senses, making applesauce, whatever fun things you do. But if you cut the apple in half, students can actually dip it in paint and stamp it onto a piece of paper. And then after that dries, students can go ahead and label that as well. All right, apple activity number 3 is going to be geared towards mostly my first and second grade students, but kindergarten teachers, the part of this will still work for you too. So this is going to be to learn about Johnny Appleseed. Now, many primary teachers already know that Johnny Appleseed, or John Chapman, his birthday is at the end of September. So in primary classrooms all over the country, many teachers choose to teach about him. And when we teach about John Chapman, I like to turn it into a reading and comprehension type activity. So I actually have a whole mini unit, a free one over on TPT. It looks like this. And here is actually a full nonfiction sheet all about John Chapman that you can read aloud to your students. Now you can see by looking at this text that in second grade, your students would probably be able to read this independently, but in kindergarten or first grade, you'll want to read this with your kids. And then I also included a free vocabulary sheet here where your students can fill in the blanks, and then they can choose a word from above and illustrate to show that we understand what fictional, legend, and encountered really mean. I also included a comprehension sheet right here so students can answer the questions after they've gone ahead and read the passage. So your second graders could probably read the passage and fill out the vocabulary and comprehension sheets on their own. Even if you had to read the passage aloud, they could probably do the response sheets by themselves. But your first grade students in September would probably need you to read all of it for them, but you could definitely do this as a guided activity with your whole class. If you're looking for other Johnny Appleseed resources, Brain Pop Jr. also has a great resource, a little video on John Chapman. And since that mini unit I'm sharing is completely free, let me just quickly show you what else is inside it. I have two different response sheets. This one has your students pretending your friend has never heard of Johnny Appleseed, so they will describe who he is and what he did. Here I have how to plant an apple tree, and they'll share in 4 steps how they would plant an apple tree. And then just for good measure, I threw in a math and a literacy activity that your students could do. So here's an apple addition sheet where students would spin the spinner and roll a die, and then they would add the 2 numbers together and color in the apple. Students could either play this together and they would go back and forth, each choosing a different color crayon. And then when they all get filled in, they see who colored in the most. Or students could totally play this independently. And then for literacy, I have a long E, short E sort. It's a game that looks like this. It's called Collect the Appleseeds. And here students would roll a die, they move that many spaces, and if the word has long E, like the word seed, they can collect a seed and color it in on their player 1 chart or their player 2 chart, whoever they are. But if it has short E, they don't color anything in. So students would just keep rolling, reading the word, seeing if it has long E to collect a seed, and whoever collects all their seeds first is the winner. There were the 3 Apple activities I wanted to share with you. Real quick, I want to share also a really cute book. This isn't necessarily an activity, but if you're doing anything Apple related, Bad Apple, A Tale of Friendship by Edward Hemingway is a super cute book all about friendship, and it is a great one to read towards the beginning of the year. So I wanted to throw this in there as well. Now for your freebies, I wanted to share those Apple Tree math mats in activity number 1. I have those linked down below. You can grab those entirely for free. The writing activities in number 2, those were all in my writing mini unit. I will link that down in the description in case you want to check that out. And my Johnny Appleseed unit is also completely free, so I will link that down in the description as well. And I'll also link this book in case you want to check it out, but I believe I got this from a Scholastic Book Club. I think it was only like $1, so I'll link it in case you want to see it, but look for it cheaper. So there are 3 fun and easy Apple activities that you can integrate in your classroom lesson plans and just have fun with your students. Next October, I will do a video all with pumpkin activities, so be looking for that. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up so I know. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and click that bell. When you click that bell, you'll actually get an email every time one of my new videos comes out. And like I said, I do a video on Thursday and Sunday morning, so be sure to join me with lots of new teaching tips. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.